All right. Well, let's start with Bradley. You guys did some seldom work territory, didn't you? Where did you guys go?
Kentucky.
All right, Kentucky. And Callie, how did you guys get to Kentucky?
We drive in our car to Kentucky and we drive to lots of states.
Right. It was a long drive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was worth it, though, wasn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Nice. So when you got there, Laura, where did you guys stay?
Arrangements were made for us to stay with different families in the congregation.
Very nice. Very good. So while you guys were there, what did you do?
Went out in service.
Okay. Nice. What else did you do?
We went to go see a waterfall.
You did? Nice.
Yes.
Was that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Did you guys go to meetings too?
Yes.
Yeah. And did you meet a lot of people at those meetings?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We've been meeting lots of new people at Kentucky, and I like going out with my brothers and sisters.
Very nice. Very nice. Did you get to place some literature at the doors? Yeah? What did you place at the doors? Do you remember? It was during the campaign, right? So you got to play some tracks during the campaign, right? Very good. Now, was there anything interesting that happened out in the service, Bradley, that you remember? Something that happened with your mom that you wanted to talk a little about? Not sure? Okay. What happened out in service?
First store that we went to in the car group Callie and I were in, there was a rattlesnake, a dead rattlesnake.
Good.
But, yes.
And the kids were excited to hear about that,
Yes.
weren't they? Very nice. What was the area like? Was it flat like Florida, or was it different? What was it like, Bradley?
There are mountains.
And how about the roads, Callie? How were the roads?
They were twisty.
Twisty. Do you like twisty roads?
No.
No. What happens on twisty roads?
It makes me sick.
Yeah, me too. But you stopped and then it was okay, right? Yeah, that's good. All right, very nice. Well, what, besides going out in service, you did some other things. Callie, you mentioned
A waterfall.
the waterfall. And did you hike to that waterfall?
Yeah.
Yeah? And what did you guys do at the waterfall?
I went swimming.
You went swimming, yeah. In that warm water, right?
No.
What kind of water was it?
Cold.
But it was fun though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about the trip that you enjoyed? Bradley, I think you enjoyed something about the house you were staying in.
They had a dog named Donkey.
Yeah. And what'd you do with that dog?
Played with it.
Yeah. That was fun too after a busy day, right? Very good. Well, excellent. So, Laura, what kind of planning was involved in this trip?
Well, probably the most difficult part was the fact that it was scheduled just a couple weeks after the girls started a new school year. And we had to get their dad to agree to let them go. And so it seemed very unlikely that he would let them miss school. So there was a lot of praying, and the girls understood that if this worked out, it was most definitely Jehovah's direction, because it did not seem like it would happen. So when it did, it was very faith strengthening for all of us, but especially for them to see how Jehovah made answered their prayers.
Yeah, sure. Very good. Very nice. So, why did you decide to take the girls to Seldom Work Territory?
The first Preaching in Seldom Work video where the family goes to Ireland, while we were watching that, Bradley was like, I want to go there. Can we go there? I want to do that. And so I had to tell her that Ireland was probably not possible, at least right now.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday, hopefully. But right now, what we could do is find places here in the United States that need help, just like other countries do. And so I was able to put feelers out, let everybody that I know goes on a fairly regular basis know that next time a trip was planned, please let us know, we want to go. So I wanted them to be able to experience this.
Sure, yeah, which leads to my next question. What positive effects did it have on your family, on your family's ministry, and your family's spirituality?
Well, I think the biggest thing was them getting to experience the joy of reaching out and seeing that we can do more, even though our situation may be limited and maybe we can't go to other countries right now and maybe it can't be for an extended period of time. In one day's drive, we were able to go and help this congregation, stay with the friends, and so even in a limited situation, there's still plenty of things that we can do.
Sure.
So it gave them not just this idea that some people can go and do things and go places, that anybody can do it. We can do it, anybody can do it, they can do it, and so now that they've experienced it, they want to do more, they want to go other places, and hopefully that continues with them as they grow up in Jehovah's service.
And the congregation appreciated you guys being there, didn't they? So you want to do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very nice. We appreciate that. Okay, now on to Sarah. Sarah, have you worked Seldom Work territory before?
Yes.
And where have you worked Seldom Work territory?
Alabama, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Bolivia.
Okay, and which one of those would you like to talk about tonight?
Bolivia.
I figured. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit, real quick, what the trip was like going to Bolivia?
Well, I had to take 2 planes to get there. The first one was a 9-hour flight, and the second one was just a couple hours to get to the city, Riber Alta, where we were staying. And when we landed in that town, the airport was a dirt runway, that's it. No building, nothing. And then we got picked up from the airport on motorcycles.
Okay. And taken where?
To where we'd be staying.
Which was where?
At our brother and sister's house.
Yeah, brothers and sisters' house. Very nice. Okay, so tell us what a day out in service was like in this very remote town called Riber Alta.
Well, since it's so hot and humid there, they start service at 7:30 in the morning. They start knocking on people's doors at 7:30 in the morning, and they only go out till about 10. But then we go out again at around 5 o'clock and stay out till 8 o'clock or later, even when it's dark outside.
Okay, and what kind of response were you getting out in the territory?
Pretty much the only time we didn't talk to somebody is if they didn't answer the door. Otherwise, everyone was interested, everyone invited you to sit down, everyone wanted to talk, and people willingly gave donations. Is very different from here. Very productive and a lot of response.
And how about traveling out in service? How did you do that?
That was only motorcycles, only walking, no cars, and sometimes to get to certain parts of the territory was a 45-minute to an hour ride on a motorcycle.
And how were the roads?
Very bumpy, lots of potholes. I wouldn't even consider them roads. Lots of them were just like paths, but it was very bumpy.
And what did you do for food if you were that far away and you're on a motorcycle? You couldn't just pack a lunch and put it in the trunk. What did you do for food?
For food, when we got to the territory early in the morning, before we would start, we would knock on people's doors and ask them if they would feed us lunch. And we would pay them, of course, but until we found someone who would feed us lunch, then we would start preaching.
Very nice, very good. So, very different than what we're used to here, correct? So, what planning was involved for this trip? How long did you plan this trip for?
Well, it was kind of a last-minute thing, so I didn't really have to do much planning, but I had been saving for 5-6 years to be able to go somewhere where the need is great, since as long as I can remember I've wanted to do something like this. So just a lot of saving involved.
Yeah, very nice. And what positive effects did this have on you, your ministry, and your spirituality?
Well, it was definitely encouraging to see how productive the ministry can be in different areas of the world. It was very strengthening and encouraging to see that. It was also, like I said, a goal that I've always had for as long as I remember. So being able to reach that goal helped me to set more goals. It was very motivating. Now I want to continue to learn Spanish so that I can go out back back to Bolivia and to other Spanish-speaking countries and help where there's a need. Also, I was very impressed with the brothers and sisters because they were very familiar with their Bibles and very skilled at the door. And that was motivating to me to become more skilled in my ministry and more familiar with my Bible. And it's helped me to set more goals. And I'm also very thankful to Jehovah and his organization for allowing an opportunity like that.
Very nice. And did you meet anybody while you were there?
Yeah, I made lots of new friends, and they all said that when I come back, they'll be speaking English. So.
Very nice. Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone.